Embrace HIPMAT. Embrace its academic and professional reputation that has trained over 15,000 professionals in 10 years. Embrace HIPMAT's numerous professional programs from HND to BTech, BSc, and MBA in the schools of Business and Management Sciences, Engineering and Technology, and the School of Transport and Logistics. Embrace HIPMAT's professionalism, excellence, and consistency with solid mentorship from the University of Bamenda and the University of Boya. Embrace HIPMAT's skills, development, expertise, and career orientation via workshops and academic field trips. Be part of the HIPMAT family. Visit our Boya campus at Checkpoint Moliko and Douala campus at Carrefour Yoro, Jos, Bonamusade. Contact 683-70-1720. The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, the University Institute for Professionals.
Hello televiewers, good evening and welcome to today's edition of Prime on My Media Prime. This day, as usual, we are going to be looking at issues on relationship and marriage. Today we are going to be asking the question as to who to share our problems in case we fall into some of them in a relationship and in marriage. Is it wise to share our problems with friends, families, or men of God, or to share with some of us journalists? We find out in today's edition of the program. We also are going to be looking at whether it is best for the husband and wife to be sleeping in separate rooms. I did some studies and some of them are telling us that the happiest couples are those who are living in separate rooms. I don't know how they came about that, but we are also going to be discussing about that. Apostle Ambe is really laughing. Good evening to you, Apostle Ambe Valentine, our consultant.
Good evening, my co-panelists. Good evening, Cameroonians. Another Tuesday again for us to dissect relationship matters. We are here to answer mind-boggling questions with respect to the topics we are treating today. Thank you.
Funny to hear that happiest couples are those sleeping apart.
Yes, it's very, very funny to find out that I can probably be happy in separation.
You may just need to experiment for 2 months and compare. Because we also are in the company of Apostle Alfred Esingie. Good evening and welcome.
So Leo, it's a wonderful time again today, and I'm happy that we can be in company of colleagues who are always dissecting this issue of relationship.
Okay.
Today will be special.
Would you go in for separate rooms?
Yes, I think it's a good. I was thinking about it, especially when I want to build a special house. I'm going to put that in mind.
There are times that you need concentration.
Yes, I was just talking with my wife about it, and then she saw it that it's sometimes good.
Okay, we are also in the company of Apostle Lefor, Divine, the Love Doctor, all the way from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo, and good evening, my fellow panelists. Greetings to all the viewers of My Media Prime. It's another Tuesday, it's another time to gain wisdom, insight, understanding, and it's always a pleasure and honor to serve the world with what God has endowed and blessed us with. And I believe this topic again will be a blessing to individuals, singles, married, and I believe, as usual, we are going to deliver, and everyone is going to be happy that they tune in.
Okay, Asanji Yvette is going to be contributing from Bamenda, Northwest Regional Capital, in the course of this edition of the program. I'll start with you, Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa. When is that time that we should even think of sharing our problems, marital or relationship problems, with the other? Is it advisable at all to share?
Yes, it's advisable to share your challenges, because there are some things you may manage and try to handle by yourself. To a certain extent, you cannot handle. When it goes beyond your faculties, your reasoning, your capacity, I think there is a need for an advanced, experienced individual who's gone down that lane to be able to educate you and to inspire you. But this has nothing to do with either in-law, friend, colleague, counselor, pastor. It has to do with your relationship with individuals. You may fall in any class. If you're a journalist, you're a doctor, you're a pastor, it has to do with your personal relationship, knowing individuals personally out of their titles, knowing individuals personally out of their offices, knowing individuals personally out of their jurisdiction. You should be able to know the kind of person you can divulge certain information to. That is one of the things you have to put in consideration, because the scripture says there is a friend that is closer than a brother. And so if you want to take based on blood relationship, there are individuals who can be related to you by blood, but they are not mature to handle your information. There are others who could be close to you academically, but they are not mature to handle your information. There are also in-laws that you can share your problems to. They won't be able to handle it. And the last person I will ever advise a woman to share her problems with is her in-laws. No matter how you try to twist it, parents will always take side with their children. They will tell you, I train them very, very well. Mothers will brag about training their children, girl children very well. The same way mothers will brag about training their male children very well. There's a case I'm handling right now of a lady who got offended, packed her things out of the house, and the lady shared the issue with the boy's mother. The boy's mother said, do everything possible to go get your husband. And things got so rough to the extent that following our program on television, the lady got to me and I told her that what you have done so far has aggravated the situation, because most people do not even want you to share their marital problems with outsiders. They believe that when you expose their marital issues outside, means they are not mature enough to handle it. And that alone, with men who are so full of themselves, full of pride, it becomes very difficult for you to handle some things again. I just told her simply what to do to get back to her man and recover her home. I think it has to do with our personal relationship. It doesn't have to do with the particular office an individual occupies. That is my own take on who we should share our burdens to, because there are people who are more experienced in life, but also they have the inability to keep information, to guard information. Okay,
Apostle Alfred Esingie, how judicious, how careful should we be when sharing our problems with an outsider, a third party? Well, what are those considerations that we must guard against?
Well, it's just normal for us to get to a point in time or in life where you have to just bust out to someone, just to talk to someone to get their opinion. And I want to advise that if you are not really having a matured mind to decipher whether what they are telling you is right or wrong, don't take your information out, because you may take your information out and then something goes wrong. So I look at it from this angle. A human being is that kind of person that what operates in him is current. This adrenaline, this particular force that comes in between your life, your blood system. It vibrates sometimes that it just needs you to share to someone. That's why somebody say a problem shared is half solved. That's what people used to say. A problem shared is half solved. So, but you should be careful to know that you are matured enough to know what to take and what not to take. Apostle Ambe just mentioned something here. We used to just say that some of these kind of counselings are relative. When we say relative, we're trying to say that to one person it can be fine and to the other it can be somehow. Normally some people have relatives that are more close, maybe the in-laws that are more close to them than even a friend. And sometimes they prefer to share it to them. And I've seen a lot of marriages that were going astray, but an in-law came in and stepped in and said, no, we know our brother is a drug. We know him, his behavior. We know that this girl he got married to is a good person. So we would not support our brother against this woman. So sometimes try to know who you are dealing with, especially when it comes to telling some details. Even if you are trying to talk out to people, please, you're not going to use a lot of details. You just quote some things, and if you find out that they are trustworthy enough and their expertise is very strong, then you can now release this information bit by bit. That's how it goes in everything. Even in your home, even in your marriage, there are some things you are not supposed to just release like that. It causes a lot of problems. It causes a lot of tension. It causes some kind of things that you may not be able to handle afterwards. So always give yourself to know what type of information is needed for this kind of person. What should I tell this person? But normally a lot of people prefer that they go somewhere else that nobody knows them, and there they can find someone to share with. And when they share with you, they discover that they are discussing with you, and they discuss. In the course of discussion, they share their worries and they share their burdens. And sometimes they share it not using themselves. They can share it using another person. That I have a friend. This friend is going through this particular kind of thing. So I've been worrying how to help that friend. And then you begin to hear how they are talking. From the way they are talking, you begin to get your ideas on how to solve your own problems. So sometimes you may not need to share to someone that you really know, or someone who is a friend, but you can go somewhere. Like most of these people who drink in bars, most of these people who always have clubs and some associations where they sit together all the time, they usually solve their problems by themselves. Because when they are talking, they are feeling nice, they are feeling free, they are feeling well. By the time they go back home, they are relaxed and they are free with their mind. So the extent to which a particular issue should be relayed to someone is the extent to which you trust the person or you have a relationship with the person. You must know that I have a relationship with this person and I've tasted it and proven that with time this person has proven to be faithful and be able to be confidential. That if you tell some kind of things, they'll be able to handle it. Because some people, you are telling them you are digging your grave. You are digging your grave. You tell them today, they will use it against you, especially those who are planning. Because sometimes we usually advise that it's not good that a married person is going to seek counsel to an unmarried person. You know, you have a friend that is not married and you're going to tell the person you're married things. What do you expect? Even though in other cases too, some unmarried people are very, very useful when it comes to counseling.
Okay.
Yes. So that's
at what point, Apostle Lefor Divine, should a partner in a relationship or marriage decide to seek to share his or her trouble with a third party?
Okay, this is a very
because it doesn't just happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, part of maturity is having a tolerance capacity and having what the Bible will call long suffering. I think love is long suffering. Part of the definition of love is long suffering. Long. It means because we have in a generation today where every little thing they bring it up. You know, we have people believe in that advice where they tell you, speak up. Just speak. If something is saying speak up, no.
Something to chop you put.
No. Then that's not love. There's a long suffering. There is tolerance. There's another word that is used in the scripture. Yes, there's temperance. There's another one that shows that you are holding out on the person. You know, it's like they're pulling you an elastic. So I believe that if there is no long suffering, then love is not really in play. Because in today's world, you see a lot of people call out. They have a little issue, whether at the level of organization or home. You see, they come on social media and they are talking and they are sharing and it's really terrible. So I think there must be a certain degree. Personally, before I was getting at the level of courtship, what I did, I told my lady, I said, Madam, I am not perfect. I am not this and that, but I believe if we ever come to a talk here, each couple is unique. But when it has been reoccurring, there is a point where if you think that things need to move ahead, but you are not coming to an agreement, I think another party can come in. But what I usually advise is, even at the point in dating and courtship, one of the best ways to move ahead, even in dating, is to have somebody both of you value and honor. Because I've seen a lot of cases, right, personally, where somebody comes to me, and while I'm solving the case, let's say it's the lady who said, let's see Apostle Lefor Divine. So when they come, the man, as I'm talking, the man is like this. Maybe it's the lady who came. As I'm talking, the man is like this. We talk, finish, we'll go see my own pastor. You get it? Yeah, so finish for the day. Sometimes the man who comes, the woman say, well, you don't finish. Why? Because if there is no mutual trust and honor for the person involved,
it cannot move ahead. So I believe one of the best things to establish, even at courtship and dating, it's that mutual trust of somebody whom you people honor and trust their advice, and you people are sure of their confidentiality. The worst thing a couple will ever do is to open up. Sometimes some problems cannot be solved because the man or the woman is really angry that you shared it to somebody they didn't want to know, and sometimes it's so difficult to solve it anymore. So I believe part of what dating and courtship should involve, I always tell people, it must not be a pastor, but there should be somebody both of you believe that if we talk to this person, even if we don't agree, because sometimes the problem is in solving it, I might be discomforted or you might be discomforted, but if we believe in that person, if we say, okay, we're coming to Apostle Ambe, so we have agreed that whatever wisdom or agreement that Apostle Ambe say, we will take it, even if it favors me or not. I think that's one of the wisdom that courtship and dating should have. Have somebody that both of you honor and respect, that you people can take their wisdom and value to apply your relationship.
Okay, let's take the first reaction of Asanji Yvette from Bamenda concerning the topic on the discussion.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening to all the apostles. Good evening to the viewers. We are talking on who you should share your problems with. Okay, now it's obvious and it's normal that as human beings, we all yearn to share our problems with somebody. You know, sometimes people coming for counseling, not just because they want a solution. People coming for counseling because they want someone to listen to their problem. They just want to share. They just want to empty out their problem and let somebody listen to them. So sharing your problem is very important because you cannot live as an island. You see, people that keep their problems and they don't share them, they suffer from depression, they suffer from tension, frustration, and you can name them. So sharing your problem is very important. Now, when we talk about sharing your problem, who do you share your problem with? Some people share their problems with their friends, some share it with their family, some share it with their pastor, some share it with any respectable elder in the society. Or sometimes some people confide in a respectable person in the family. So, but in all these people mentioned, who is the best person you can share your problems with? I didn't mention the counselor because I'm going to come to that. Okay, so who should you share your problems with? Now, I won't advise anybody to share your problems with friends. The first reason is because when you share your problem, you have a best friend, you share your problem with that best friend. That best friend has another best friend that they also go and share their problem with. And then guess what? The problem keeps being shared, and then before you know it, the problem that you shared with just one person becomes a public thing. You hear it from somewhere. We know that when we talk about relationship or marital issues, they are very confidential things that you will not want to share it with somebody that you want to hear it from another person someday. So friends are not, please take note of that, friends are not the best people to share your problems with. Talking about family, I equally discourage that aspect of sharing with family. Now the reason is because no matter how careful or
Okay, thank you for that first reaction. Yvette Asanji, all the way from Bamenda there, she raised some points that you should not share your problems with friends and to be very careful with sharing them with families because, like you said, families will likely take sides.
Take side, yeah. Yes, I mentioned it earlier because based on experience, nobody will claim to have given birth to a nuisance. The mother will boast of what they have raised, and the other side, the mother also will boast of what she has raised. So every mother will be bragging at their own end. My son is not bad, my daughter is not bad. That's the reason why you see family ties, sentiment, blood connection should be pushed aside. You need a neutral person. That's the reason why it's good to settle conflict with a person that does not take side. If they bring a neutral person between the two of you, the person will not be sentimental. Because no matter how bad your child is, there is an attachment between you and your child, that even if you want to blame your child, you will say, but consider. And that consideration is a kind of sentimental attachment that it thwarts the entire judgment.
So many, from what you are saying, and Madam Asanji out there, it shows that many problems have not been resolved because either the girl or the boy or the man and woman are only constantly taking their problems to families.
Good.
And the families are rather protecting either their daughter or their son.
That is just the raw truth. The truth is, before you get married to a man, he should show you the person that can hit his head and he will still be quiet. And that person must be somebody that is not connected to him by any form of blood connection. There must be a neutral person. If a man does not show you somebody that he respects and is afraid of, you are entering a grave. I'm saying so for the man because most at times it is a man that needs somebody he's afraid of. To the woman, she'll be afraid of the man, but the man needs somebody, because in that relationship the man is the authority. So the woman here is the subject. Now the man needs somebody that can correct him. If you don't have a man that can correct your man, you are in trouble, because it is men that most at times need somebody that has to correct them, even though the woman also supposed to have somebody that can correct her. But on most occasions, men are the ones who hardly have people that correct, because they are always correct. Men are always correct. That is their philosophy. And they misinterpret authority for perfection. Being an authority does not mean you are perfect. That you are the head of a family does not make you a genius. There are many stupid heads. There are many ignorant heads. There are many irresponsible heads. But because you are an authority, there is a general notion that because you are the head, you are right. You can be very wrong as the head. Now, when men are wrong, they take authority to subdue their stupidity. And that's what the trouble is. So, even though the man is an authority, he needs an authority that will subjugate his own authority, and then his real personality can come out. And that is the reason why we always tell people in relationships that a man should be able to tell you that if you see me misbehaving today, this is the person you can call at any time. When he hits my head and he calls me, I will report at any time and I'll give accountability. Because there is no wagon of a train that runs without a head. So I think one of the things we are suffering, especially in Africa, is that people are most at times wrong. A woman will catch nude pictures in your phone, pornographic pictures in your phone, and when she wants to speak, you say you are the head. Massa, headship does not mean you are right. And this is the reason why a lot of women suffer, because somebody begins to say, I am the head. We know you are the head. The headship does not make you a perfect person. And that is why we need a neutral person that will be bold enough to look you into your eyes and tell you that, my friend, despite the fact that you are the head, at this juncture you are wrong. And that has to be with somebody also you respect, you recognize, and you acknowledge his supremacy over your life.
Okay, but Madam Asanji also raised the issue of friends, that we should hardly share our problems, marital relationship problems, with our friends. Why is she being so careful? Except we trust the friend.
I think the thing she was just trying to cite was many friends fail people. Friends fail people a lot. That's what she was trying to cite, and she was just trying to put a code: don't trust friends. That's what she's trying to say. But I think the best friend you should be having is your spouse. I have experienced a lot of things in marriage that when I want to talk some things, I talk by experience. I've never gone to somebody to report my wife, or my wife has not reported anybody. I've not seen somebody come to me and say that my wife reported you to me, or this or this. We have coaches, we have mentors, we have people who are spiritual fathers over us, but they will tell you of a truth that we have never come there to relay our problem or to tell them that we have problems. is because we have learned to share our problem between us. If I have a problem, the first person to share with is supposed to be my wife. This problem is chopping me up. Then she will not come. This thing you have done is very wrong. Now, because we have built that kind of mind that you can always accept you're wrong, you can always tell yourself that you are wrong. Because I have grown in a kind of environment that I don't know how to keep my feelings. If you hurt me now, I'll just tell you. And then she learned that from me also. She's the introverted kind of person that does not easily air out herself. But she has learned to know that if I do have something now, she would tell me. And one of the things we do is that we don't tell ourselves to quarrel or to argue about it. We tell ourselves to take note that this thing you have done is wrong. So even if you try to start justifying, we are already known that I've already told you, and this is what I feel about this. And we are matured enough to understand that if somebody can point here that this thing you're matching my leg is painful, you just adjust immediately. We've been married now for 16 years. By God's grace, July will be 16 years in marriage. And we have come to the point to know that we don't need to carry our problems to anybody. Not that we cannot look for other means. Like, for example, if we have a problem and want to solve it, we can use this medium. Just like how they are talking now, and solve the problem without necessarily going to those people talking on the television. You can follow this program and learn to solve your problems without necessarily going to tell anybody. You can follow other educative programs on the television and get solutions to your problem without necessarily meeting a counselor or a friend. We can hear somebody talking and we say, you hear no? You hear what they talk for, you know? You don't. You say, the man correct. Or that man, he did not talk because of say this is saying that. Then you sit again and listen to other people talk about that the same thing. It becomes a wonderful thing. That's why you should never stay away from this particular program that talks about relationship, because there are some problems that must be solved in your family through this particular channel. Because we talk a lot of things and people ask questions and people also share their opinions, and you get it from the crowd and you get it from the people. You're obviously going to solve your problem without necessarily telling a friend. And that is how we have been operating. We have spiritual fathers, but they will tell you till tomorrow. We have never come there to tell them that we have a problem. And the question I'm surely thinking that they are asking in their mind is it that these people don't have problem, or they don't want to come and tell us their problems? That's what they should be asking in their minds. But yours truly, if they are spiritual enough, they should have known that these people are mature people. They can handle their problems. We have not gone to that kind of a problem where it is so difficult to handle. We have handled issues where my wife feels threatened about women around me. We have had problems like that. Immediately I discover it. I just have to adjust as a man. A man, they call you a man because you know how to adjust. You know how to put things in order. You know how to take things in order. That's why they call you the house band. The house band. Because you can know how to tie the house together and make the house not to go astray. This thing that we always want to rush to the next friend to tell them about issues of our marriages, it is a very bad idea. Yes. No doubt you can talk. Some cases you can talk, especially when things have gone out of hand, especially when you are having someone that have deliberately decided to be hurting you without you have tried your best you cannot before these things. But we built our relationship on trust from the beginning, and we began to tell ourselves that the best friend to tell our problem is us. And then after that we prayed together. And after we pray together, sometimes the way to end that problem is not just by solving it or by praying about it. There is also what we call a consummation. That kind of thing that you do some kind of sweet things, and then after that adrenaline of hate, of anger, of bitterness just goes down on its own. That kind of a thing. So I think that on this note, like what our sister Asanji was talking about there, she is trying to point to the fact that you can only get to a point where you have to express yourself to someone if at all you must have exhausted all possible means in trying to solve a problem in your marriage. Get your partner to be your friend. That's why they always advise that the best person to get married to is your friend. Even though not all friends are good husbands or good wives. Not all friends are good husbands or good wives. A good friend can be a good friend. But when you take it to the next level and enter into marriage, you find yourself in trouble. So always identify, this my friend I'm entering into in a relationship. Is she marriageable or is he marriageable? Is he also mature enough to handle problems without necessarily carrying it to the streets and carrying it to people? Because some people talk their problems everywhere. They go everywhere and share their problem. In the bar, they talk about it. They go to their family, they talk about it. And sometimes some in-laws want to come and intervene in your family to solve problems that you are the one that carry it there. And when they come there, they don't know how to handle it. It becomes a problem. Friends that you tell, they begin to go around and set fire around the other ones. And then before you want to come, now you talk to this friend, the friend carry it and tell the other partner. The partner also explain her own part of the story or his own part. And then you go and explain it to the husband or to the wife, and then it becomes another problem again. So sometimes keep your problems away from friends, just like how Madame Asanji just said there. Yes, she has to tell us whether she's married, because I want to know that part of it, because we want to call her Madame or sister or this because it's very important.
No, she's married.
She's married now. All right, great. She's married.
She's not first married. How do you say she's married now?
Oh, all right, because I'm just like, because I didn't know. So if I say that, I didn't know about that. So I didn't know about it.
She's married, please.
Okay. Yes, because somebody that is qualified to talk about marriages like this should be able to be a married person.
No, she's a marriage counselor, please.
Okay.
No. Also, Lefor, divine. No. Where is the place? When should we also move to you people, men of God? Are you people the best persons to take problems to?
Honestly, I would say that being a pastor does not automatically qualify you to be an expert in marital issues, and it takes humility to also accept this. The truth there is, even as pastors, sometimes we have specialized areas that we are experts in, and not everybody, just because the pastor. I think there was one time I was talking to some of my pastors, and I told even the congregation, and sometimes we also have this problem even in church, where maybe you have 10 pastors, and sometimes people in church means because somebody has the name pastor, it means they have the ability to hear everything you have to say. The truth is, it's not just the ability to give to give intelligent talk. In fact, one of the things that put Joseph on the throne was not his ability to interpret dreams. If you read the scripture, they say, have we found a man as wise and discreet? You see, discretion is one of the high qualities in being in authority. And it's sad to say that very few people, it is difficult to hear things and it does not change you. That's the truth. It is very few people can hear things. I will tell you, I think if my men of God here can agree with me, the truth is one of the most difficult works or difficult tasks as a pastor is hearing the things that are happening in your congregation and looking at them still with the eyes of Christ, because sometimes you hear things you cannot believe. This is the truth, and not everybody has the ability to take stabs and knives and everything, and it does not affect their approach. I told somebody, I told someone, we want to say that maybe the women should not, or when I say don't get into my phone or don't get into some things, I told somebody one time, I said, this might be your children. I told my wife, this might be your children, but they can share something that changes the way you see them, and you have to be careful. Sometimes these people open up terrible and deep things. So I believe that the anointing to prophesy, to preach and to teach does not automatically qualify you or make you an expert. There are sometimes, that's why sometimes you see some people's ministry, they have a pastor. Sometimes in some ministry they have dedicated a counselor who is deep in the doctrines of the church, but as well is an expert in marital affairs. So sometimes it takes the humility to accept. I don't want to say that every man of God is a marriage counselor. No, that would be a gross overstatement. It would be a gross overstatement.
So what you are saying is that because many persons are watching,
yes,
it's not every man of God that you should carry your problems to. And that also explains why many problems have not been solved, because some people think that because you are a man of God, you must necessarily.
Yes, and this comes also with the way we sometimes project ourselves. I think, for example, you see there are some people who are honest. One time they asked a young man one time, he's actually, when I say a young man, he's older than me, about 7 years. So they asked him one time, they brought a case, and I was shocked when this man called me and said, sir, I have an issue in my church that I have told them, I believe your wife's counsel. So I was like, what? Sir, you are. They say, no, I have been following you. I have been following your books. There are pastors who are even in our groups and all of those things, because they have recognized that, okay, this grace, this wisdom has been given to this young man. So sometimes we have that honesty to say, okay, this can be solved, this can be solved like this person can solve. Don't assume just because somebody has a title of man of God, it means they can solve your marital problems. I think this is something that's why sometimes some people, when you come, the best they will say is go and pray. It's not as if prayer that's the wrong thing, or prayer, but we all know prayer is not the only thing. Moses was doing something from morning to evening, and Jethro came and told him that, look, the way you are doing this thing, you will kill yourself. So sometimes we need more than just having the anointing to be able to carry out certain tasks.
Okay, I'll take a few messages here, Apostle Ambe. You guys should bear with me. Let us also allow our people to participate now. Mr. Leo, I hail you and want to let you know this year program is a university. For some of us, keep this up, please. Sir John is writing from Germany. I don't know where you dug this Apostle Ambe from, but he is an asset and very knowledgeable. He should keep coming. Okay, thank you very much. I am Madame Loveline from Bali. I want to appreciate you people for the program. For me, the couple with God being at the center is okay. No friend or family intervention. Some friends and family are being entertained hearing your problems. Okay, yes, so solve your problems yourselves. Greetings, servants of God in the studio. Please, I have a concern. Is it possible for a 6-month-old married woman qualified to be a marriage counselor? Okay, maybe they are called by God to do so. Greetings, good evening, great men of God and nation builders. I want to thank Apostle Ambe for speaking the truth so boldly, though being a man too. You guys are doing a great job and we are learning enough. My question is it okay for a husband with whom you have issues keep saying you don't need a counselor because he is the best counsel in marriage to teach you? You have to take that, you respond that later on. Please, can you stop the calls? When you call, the phone freezes. Yes.
That is it possible to have a husband?
Yeah, the husband says.
And he says you don't need a counselor because he is the best counselor.
Yes, exactly what you just said.
That's why I'm saying that being an authority doesn't mean you are right. And you can be an authority, you are not gifted in that area. This thing it has to do with a kind of call. Just like in the medical field, everybody is called doctor, doctor, doctor. There is a job you give a psychiatrist. He will not be able to do it. He will fail.
He will refer to
I have gone to hospitals where medical doctors will refer you to another medical doctor with all humility, telling you that this is not my area of specialty. And this is what is lacking in the church. This is what is lacking in so many fields in life, even in the field of law. We have lawyers who are specialized in criminal cases. We have family lawyers and company lawyers. That's law in a generic sense, but somebody has a specialty. So we can be pastors. Even the pastoral ministry is not general. There are giftings from different capacities. There's a teaching ministry, there's an apostolic ministry, there's a prophetic ministry, there's evangelistic ministry. Now within these offices, we have individuals whom God has endowed. First with the grace, because it's a wisdom. Sometimes you might not be old enough to give the kind of wisdom you are giving because it's an endowment. Yes. You must not be 60 years in marriage to counsel a 60-year-old person. David says, thou hast made me wiser than my enemy. I have more understanding than my teachers because your testimonies and my meditations. I understand more than the ancients because I've kept thy precept. In other words, I'm a younger person, but I have the mind because of God's spirit and God's word of the ancients. I can even educate the ancient person and an elderly person. That is a grace. Number two, there is a passion. There are people who are not interested in going to details, digging out about marriages, finding out about it. It's a passion. We have a passion. There is a drive to make sure you see homes are in order. There is that churning in your spirit that wants you to make sure that no home scatters. When you finish talking, somebody will tell you that, Master, you know your job. I counsel you recently say, Apostle, you know your work. That is an inspiration. You don't see us come here with some bunch of books to stand here and give. As we are talking, it flows from within because it's a natural endowment. That's it. So if a man says he is the best counselor, he can only prove that by acting. If they are still telling you that they need a counselor, then you are not counselor enough. Because if you were to be a counselor, your wife will not be looking for what she has in the house outside. A man cannot be a pediatrician and then the children are sick. Then the wife says, let us look for a pediatrician outside. It means you are not proving your worth in the house. A genuine marriage counselor, first of all, leaves a blueprint. His own home is an exemplary marriage. Because the wisdom he will want to give to others, he has exercised it in his own house first.
But at times, carpenters don't have the best furniture.
Isalio, a carpenter may have not the best furniture, not because he doesn't want to. No, the skill to produce the best furniture is there. It's because there is something operating within him that is beyond the skill. Sometimes arrogance, sometimes pride will make some people not want to submit to the truth. It is not too difficult to tell a woman that you are sorry. This customary background we came from, that makes men demit gods in marriage, is what is causing, even when the knowledge is there. I told somebody that no matter how intelligent you are, you still need character for that knowledge to be relevant. Knowledge can lose its value and even lose its essence when character is not in place to enact the knowledge. How do you explain that somebody is a medical doctor, he knows that smoking cigarette is deadly, yet he smokes? How do you explain that somebody is a medical doctor based on the knowledge he has gathered from a medical school, he knows that alcohol is bad, yet he consumes it? It's to tell you that the knowledge is available, but something beyond the knowledge is operating within him.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu and the team. The topic today is great. I pray a new give me the chance to follow up to the end. Bo God love is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you. Oh, God love, greetings, Mr. Liu. It's good to share with trusted family members. If you have a clear conscience and are willing to solve the marital issues, Pache Paul in Awing Village, Santa Subdivision. Good evening to you, Pache. My name is Ambele Alphonse Barry, writing from Damas, Yaoundé. Whom you share your problem with depends on trust for that person, how mature the person is in that particular domain, and lastly, how sincere the person is. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm called Precious Ngale from Bonduma. Please, I want to ask Apostle Ambe that what advice can he advise a man who smokes Indian hemp and follow friends everywhere to drink alcohol and comes back late at night? Apostle Ambe will answer you. Good evening, Mr. Kum. What of a case when you confide in a counselor who shares your story to the wife and wife spreads it? What comes of it? Because you say we should not tell friends, no family members. Okay, Pastor Promise, my brother out there in Boya, pastor with Winners Chapel International. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks for such an educative program like this. Apostle Ambe is making a lot of sense there. If you are a man that want to enter into the covenant of marriage, at least there should be someone out there that can call you to order when the devil creeps in, because some men can be sincerely wrong and would not want anyone to correct them. Good evening to you, man of God. Extend greetings to the family. Good evening to you all in the studio. On the topic of discussions, my point of view is that any marital problem is tackled well only by those concerned. Someone who doesn't wear a shoe can't know whether it pinches or not. My wife and I solve our problems. No third party, not even a man of God. Derek Walla is writing from Chang. Derek says, no man of God, Apostle Ambe. Good evening. No one deserves sharing my problem with. I consider everyone as a gossip. Mark Celine writing. Yes, let's, you just spoke now?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Let's, many persons says, no way. It stays here. Maxeline even asked to the brother who said earlier on that even men of God, nobody, I'm not sharing my problem with them.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Is it possible?
That's what I just said, that you can also build that culture, not to share some problem, especially if you know, especially people have a lot of sentimental issues. Some men are really, really difficult. Immediately they find out that you have let out the cat from the bag, and you tell somebody about some problems that are happening in the family, they become more difficult. Even though, like Apostle Ambe said, that you should have someone that talks to you, many a times people die inside of them because of the honor they have for someone. You know that if this man talk, I cannot argue him. I will just let it lie inside of me. And then, but when you go home, you are dying of it. You're dying of it, and it becomes a problem at the end of the day, because some counselors really interrogate people. Immediately you come, they start shouting at you. Why should you be doing this to your wife? They say, Daddy, I'm sorry. Daddy, I'm sorry. Now you are saying sorry not because you have solved the problem, but because you have suppressed the problem. And when you suppress problems, they accumulate to come back another time. Sometimes when you say, I'm going to tell someone my problem. Someone. Now, would that one make this partner of yours that you're going to live with them for the rest of your life to be free with you after that? That's why some of the things we're asking. But you see, like in some cases in marriages, we used to say that when the matter becomes very worse, we can even go up to the state council. We can even take the matter to the state council or to the social welfare so that they can call you people to order. Especially when it comes to the point of total negligence. Especially someone like that one that, you know, is they say smoking banger and those things. He doesn't take care of the family and everything, these things. Sometimes you need to take him to the social welfare to handle it. Especially when it comes to some men who beat their wives. When you beat your wife constantly, I will not allow that woman to say that I will keep it private. It should not be private. It should go to the state council. Yes, it should go to the state council, or it should go to the social welfare, especially when life is at stake. When life is at stake, don't keep it. What kind of problem should you share, and what kind of problem should you keep? Those are some of the things we should know. Don't be that kind of a woman that will be beating you, raping you, some kind of things, torture you. Then you stay there. You say, no, I want to protect my marriage. I want to keep my man.
How about the man?
The man too is the same. It's the same. It's on both sides, because there are some women who really torment the man. How can you be with a woman for 1 year and you're not having sex with her? She said, no, you do not touch me. And you stay there and you say, no, I want to protect my wife. I want to protect your wife for what? She has already violated the marital privileges. And that is what it is. It's wrong. Even at the level of the courts, they will sanction that kind of a case.
At what point should these things be taken out?
That's what I'm trying to point out. I'm trying to say that there is a kind of level that something will get to. And you should not keep it. Especially a man will stay with you or a woman will stay with you for 6 months, 1 year, no sex, nothing. You want to touch her, you say no.
I'm there.
I will suspect you. No, I will make findings about you until you will think that I'm something else. Because at the end of the day, I will know that you are doing something that is wrong somewhere. That is the kind of thing. Because you don't have time for me, but I see you sharing, you're finding time for others, and at the end of the day, you want me to feel free and then keep these things for myself. That's why I'm saying that when things go out of hand to a particular level that it has to go against marital norms and against life issues, take it out. And take it to the appropriate quarters.
How do you see it? You become a monitoring spirit?
What's that?
That she has time for other people? How will you know?
No, but you know when she talks to you, somebody talks to other people and he's laughing. He feels very comfortable, and they come to you, he's tense. It's normal. Okay, a pastor goes to church and is laughing with the Christians, enjoying, but when it comes to the wife, he frowns all the time. And talks rudely and talks harshly and does not have that love feeling with the wife. It's a problem.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. I don't think there is a status or age to be a marriage counselor. Marital problems should solve only within 2 persons. Okay, special greetings to Apostle Alfred Esingie Fonte Ernestine Timbom is writing from Bermuda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think the best pastor to share your problems with is God. Then your counselor, any other person, is to add more troubles. My regards to Apostle Ambe and others. Mr. Asanji Emmanuel writing from Bermuda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I really appreciate your program. We were enjoying it. It's educative. Thanks. Fanny is writing from Du. Fanny, how are you? Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Augustine from Yaoundé. I enjoy the program. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think the best person to share your problem with is God. I took that already. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I wish to ask Apostle Ambe, what if the only person the man is afraid of is his mom? Should he not tell the wife since he said no family members? Okay.
No trial.
Yes, okay.
No trial.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Good evening, men of God in this great nation. Please, I have a question. Can a man's father choose a wife for his son, and must we get married in church? Is it scriptural? Stone Art, writing from Douala. Thank you very much, Apostle Ambe, for answering my question satisfactorily. I'm Durinda, writing from Equatorial Guinea. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and all the panelists. Great topic and very educative too. As much as we advise couples to solve their problems by themselves, when it concerns battery, it should not be concealed. Family members and friends have to know so they can assist. Lucy Ayuk, writing from Bonadi Kombo in Limbe there. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and the panelists enjoying the program. It is better to share with someone who is not too close to you. Fanny is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Fanny. You call yourself Fanny Labelle. Now, let's talk about social welfare and other external institutions. Is it actually necessary to take a husband, somebody you married there? Is that not already a sign to show that this thing is no longer going to work? Because from every indication, things are going to be piloted from these offices.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Liu. A very good question. But before, please just one moment, let me say something on what has been said here. I want to really still emphasize on something Apostle Ambe said, and this is the error many women make. Getting married to a man who cannot be instructed is the riskiest thing you can ever make. Because I'm saying that because the woman submits to the man. If the man does not have somebody who can call him to order, in fact, if you don't know who can call your man to order, you don't yet know his value system. Because the man who can call him to order is a proof of, in fact, sometimes if you know who can call him to order, you can even know his value system, because the person he respects shows a lot about how he thinks or who he is. It's very important. And secondly, most people like to share problems emotionally, not because they're looking for solution. That means they are looking for emotional play. That means most partners are looking for people who will agree with them.
Yes.
Not who will bring solution. This is something I want to really emphasize. This is where many women, I want to say this, always fall case, if I can put it like that. Because most of the time when things go out, it is usually the women. But that doesn't mean they're not men, because as a men, everybody they go, they're just destroying the name of the woman. That my woman, this one, that's so small, a foolish one. No. But the point is this: you don't share your problem because you want somebody to pity you. Sometimes people are just looking for pity. They are just looking for like how they say misery is looking for company. Many times people are just looking for somebody to agree with their own mindset. And if we are truly looking for solution, coming to what you said, the first thing I want to say is this: like Apostle says, we should take something that is out there, so when there's battery, life is involved. But if we follow the Bible, Jesus gave a solution of solving problems, and I think that solution it was not only for church, it was not only a church quarrel. I think we should apply that wisdom even in a home. And what did that Jesus say? He said, when two people have a problem, the two of them should first sit down and make sure they solve it. I think this is applied at home.
Yes.
Make sure you solve it. Jesus said, until it cannot be solved, Jesus says, take it to one person. Again, I'm saying this because sometimes when you know solve, like when they say if they are beating you or whatever it is, even if it is beating, don't wait for too long. But at the same time, don't just rush to the wall to do that. Don't just rush, because sometimes as Christians we can be mocked if every little thing is the word that solves it. Because this legal system, we're not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I think even as Christians we should also consider the name. But that does not mean you go and kill yourself because you're a Christian. No. But I think if it does not solve, you take one person, you bring it, and that one person should be who both of you agree, and we said that somebody who can keep it. But now it is very important, these institutions, because Mr. Leo, when you get to certain points in time, if these people are not afraid of it, there are people who are not afraid of pastors. In fact, when pastors don't talk finish, they say, they go back home, like Apostle Ambe said, a woman, after they give advice, the woman, as they reach outside, Apostle Ambe said, he still watch, and the woman said, I go show you for us. You see, I've seen that kind of thing. They leave, and the man said, I go deal with you. So sometimes they're not afraid of spiritual authority, because sometimes the highest we can do is suspend in church, and sometimes people don't have value for those things. I think legal systems, institutions, that's what we always advise people to have, to be legally married. Legal systems, that when it starts coming to life-threatening situations,
yes,
these legal systems are very vital, because there are many people who are still married today because they are afraid of the property they will lose.
There is one barrister that we had in Kumbade, Justice Verangasa.
Yes.
He used to put homes in order.
You see?
He would just warn the man, if you touch her again, come and sign here.
You see, sometimes a woman's life can be saved by these legal bodies, instruments. It's important, but I want to say that don't just rush to the world when you have a problem. Okay. Because at the end of the day, when your life and family is being mocked, when your life and family is being mocked, you can discover that you can regret, because tomorrow you can fix the problem, but your life has become a mockery. Take it step by step in this wisdom we have given, but we don't downplay the role of this legal institution. Okay. They have a lot to play, and it is very vital in keeping certain home, because some people have stayed in marriage just because they are afraid that they will lose property. So it means that even this legal system keeps this thing in place.
Okay, let's take the second reaction of our sister Yvette Asanji from Vamena.
So, like I mentioned, family not being one of the people you should share your problems with. The reason is because, like I said, even if they want to be fair, even if they want to be just as word, they end up taking side. They are not a neutral ground that you can share your problem with, and you can expect the best solution ever. Okay. Now, another reason for not sharing with family is because when you take your spouse and report to your family, later on you and your spouse fix things out, you sort things out, and then guess what? Your family is still looking at your spouse with the negative mindset that you portrayed to them about your spouse. So while you are not happy and you're moving on with your spouse, your family keeps looking at your spouse the same way you painted them when you came with that problem. And so sometimes you see it adds problems between in-laws. Then talking about pastor, yes, you can run to your pastor to share your problems with. That one is 100% acceptable. Let me not say 100%, but okay, let me say it's 95% acceptable. Talking about a respectable person in the society, that one too is 95% acceptable to me. Now, but the best person you should share your problems with is a counselor. Now, when I say counselor is because if you're sharing a problem, not just because you want to share, but because you want a solution, a long-lasting solution, you need counseling. You need someone that will look at it, look at the roots of the problem, look at the consequences, look at a lot of other things. The family, the respectable person in the society, and all those people, they can help you, they can be a shoulder to lean on, which is very correct, but will they give you long-lasting solutions? So sometimes what you need is not just advice, you need a long-lasting solution, and that comes from a professional counselor. So I want to say the best person you can share your problems with is a counselor. In as much as you can share with your pastor or with a respectable person in the society, but if you want a long-lasting solution, I encourage that you go and you share with a counselor who will go to every length to see that that problem is well handled from the roots so that it doesn't occur again. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Yvette. Also, coming in there from Bamenda, Northwest Regional Capital, Apostle Ambe, she raised a very key issue that I was going to ask one of you, that when you share your problem so much to many persons and finally end up fixing your problem, many of those persons to whom you painted either your wife or husband to end up hating your wife, and it becomes very difficult for them to forgive their husband or wife because they are not as close as you are. It's easy for either the husband or the wife to forgive their partner, but very difficult for a family or maybe somebody that is not so close to you to understand you.
Yes, it's true. When you carry an information that has to do with the two of you to so many years, it's certain that both of you can reconcile tomorrow. The woman can change, or the man can change within hours. One night, a woman can misbehave for 1 month and then choose to change one night because of her experience in that bad behavior. Now, the people who got the information when she was misbehaving will still hold to the opinion that she's bad in character. Meanwhile, a transformation might have taken place. The truth is, it's the impression that the man will give back to the society concerning his wife, because nobody can testify about your wife more than you do. Nobody can testify about your husband more than you do. I told somebody that if people criticize it from outside and your wife is standing with you, you still have a chance. But if everybody is supporting you and your wife is against you, you are in trouble. You are in serious trouble. So whether the people outside love your wife or not is the impression you will give them after that reaction. Because the same way you testified to them about her bad character, you can as well still go back to correct the error. That, this thing happened, woman don't change. Oh, I can tell you, woman don't change. If you are still holding grudges against my wife, you're on your own. And it's an error for you to enter into a relationship and begin to get angry with any of the parties. I'm sure a Cameroonian musician sang a song, "Team for man and woman, not put their mouth for day." Because I have seen many persons who have come in between couples at the end of the day being enemy to the both persons. The man reconcile with his wife and you do not want to let go his wife, he becomes your enemy. The woman reconcile with her husband, you don't want to let go the husband, she becomes your enemy. So when you are entering into relationships, enter there with a pinch of salt. You have to be studying the atmosphere to see how they are going, because issues that have to do with relationships, they are very unpredictable. Two persons can be cat and mouse this morning. By sunset, they are two lovers. And that is the reason why we are telling people that when people come and share their problems with you, don't take sides. What you have to do, you just have to be sincere that, please, even though I will not want to blame you, in this area you did not do well, this area not do well, but nevertheless we are praying for the two of you to be okay. Rather than taking sides, you have to be very cunning. Because if you take side openly, publicly, once those people will reconcile, one of you become your enemy. And that's how, based on experience, we have managed crisis. When a man and a woman comes in front of me as a counselor on marital issues, I will be sincere to tell you where you missed it, and I'll be sincere to tell you where you missed it, but my prayer is about if you come together. You should not turn me an enemy tomorrow because I took side of somebody. No, that's very, very bad. So when we are entering the relation as family members, if your brother has a problem with the wife, I can tell you with all sincerity, you may love your brother, you may support your brother, but don't support your brother in the presence of his wife. Because if you do that, tomorrow you go to that house, reconcile, that wife will become an enemy to you. So don't go and begin to buy enmity in a relationship that doesn't concern you. What you have to do is say, brother, I know you people are married. The only thing I owe both of you is prayers. That's the best you can offer a couple. If you are asked to give your opinion from a very cunning point of view. Don't just go openly as if you are going to attack an individual. But people become very sentimental. My brother is spending money for your skin. We are made the Kumokan stay for here. All those things put together. When those people reconcile, because there is a bond between married people that strangers cannot come in between. Even mama, yes, you cannot just come in between, especially when children are in when children are involved. You are joking. So when you are entering into a relationship, please enter into that relationship with a lot of wisdom, because most of the times two couples will reconcile. You, the stranger, you become the enemy.
Okay,
that's the truth.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's Mari from Tico. I like the program so much. Thank you, Mari. My name is Aziz. I prefer to share my relationship problems with my mother. Good evening, Aziz. Sia, I think love is not enough for two people to be together. They need more like status, educational level, and their way of reasoning. Some people don't have sense and are not willing to learn. This of person, even if you advise her, you are wasting your time. Gerard is writing from Long Street in Boya. Good evening, sir. Greetings to my daddy in the Lord. And Bibi K from Kribi, please help me with this. If you are in a relationship and every time she's upset, she goes silent and not ready to share it even with you. And also when she's wrong, she expects to start a conversation and expects you to say sorry. What can the man really do? Thanks. Thank you very much. Good evening to you in the studio. The program is a nice one, and what I have is that marital problems should be solved between a man and his wife only, because even those people who share to them do have problems too. So if you have a problem with your wife or husband, you just struggle to settle with her. Akonch is writing from Loom. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. Please, men of God, I quarreled with a young pastor of 33 years, calling a single and good-fearing woman of 46 years by her name, given reasons that she is not married. Even addressing her sister was totally wrong. Is his view correct? Because it was disrespectful to me. ST is writing from Amanda. Thanks. Good evening, men of God. I want to ask Pastor Ambe that if you as a man point out the wrongs of your wife to her and she refuses to see with you and instead try to defend and prove herself right, what should you do? And at times you propose a marriage counselor for the both of you and she refuses. What should you do? Promise is writing from Santa. Good evening to you, Promise. Good evening to you all in the studio. I appreciate your program so much. It's Solange from Douala. Please, I need Apostle Ambe's number. Okay, Apostle Ambe's number. Write to me if you need anybody's number after the show, please. Good evening, great men of God. Please, I wish to ask a question. Is it possible for an HIV patient to get married to someone who is not infected? I'm Stella, writing from Bomenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I need Apostle Ambe's number. I'm learning, writing from Linus, writing from Bali. Good evening. I learn a lot when I'm listening to this program. I'm not married, but I solve my problems alone with my girlfriend. Like today, we were having some problems and I reasoned about it. And when she wants, I said, sweetheart, I'm sorry. And it was over. I'm calling my girlfriend that mother. Jarvis is writing from Bafusa. Yes, Jarvis, you're a wise guy. Good evening, Mr. Liu. This is my problem with my husband. You have read my case. My husband has not been man for 3 years now. Is Josu writing from Boya. Has not been man for 3 years now. Yes. This is also. Yes, but I was going to. Actually, I wanted to ask her what are those taboo things that should not leave the roof, a family roof. Is it something like this? That is, if the bedroom problems. Oh, these are core issues.
Like we say, generally, marital problems are taboo to go outside.
Okay.
Generally. But even when it comes to the sex issue where people go for counseling, you are in trouble because they will just be turning around the problem. They will expect you, the counselor or the pastor, to decipher or to prop them and get what is their problem. You see, sex-related issues have been the backbone behind most problems in marriages. That is why people are telling you that don't take your problems outside. It is mostly those sex-related issues. Only few men know how to satisfy their wives. Only few. Statistically speaking, only few men knows how to satisfy their wife. And out of 80%, out of 100, only about 30% of women can satisfy a man. 30%, because they don't know how to satisfy men. That's why the women on the streets, I am sorry to say this, but they satisfy men more than those women at home, because the women at home always take it for granted. Namamasa anyhow we dey modua. You see, namamasa anyhow we dey modua. So these sex-related issues are always a very, very big problem, and we are trying to tell people that be frank, especially when you have to face it. Especially if you think you cannot handle it, go there. The things are on Facebook, they are on net. Google it and find out how you can solve especially those areas. If you don't want to meet a counselor or you don't want to meet a pastor to talk about it, Google it and try to know what is there and see how to handle it. Like people are just there's this also part that these people are saying that I am trying to talk to this one, the person is not trying to answer or is not trying to solve. See, there are some people that their temperaments are very dangerous and difficult to manage, especially if you have a phlegmatic or a melancholic person around you. You find it very difficult to handle those type of people when it comes to problems, because instead of talking, they'll prefer to die with it, or they'll prefer to stay with it inside of them. But people like the cholerics and the sanguine, they always go ahead to express their problem even when you don't ask them. Their temperaments, this issue of expressing problems outside also has to do with temperaments. Quiet people don't like to share their problems outside, but talkatives like us, who are not mature, the people, especially the ones that are not mature, because we have grown to the point to learn that our problems are supposed to be kept at home, not to be telling people about this one or the other. We learn as we go. We learn. Marriage is something to learn. So learn that particular person's temperament. Study their temperament. Temperament is just the way you behave. Some people are cold and some people are hot. The sanguine, choleric, they are the people who are called the extroverts. They express themselves so easily. But the phlegmatic and the melancholic are people who don't express themselves easily. So don't take it against them. Sometimes they may not just want to talk at that time. Sometimes they have a process they want to see. Many a times, especially the melancholic, they want to see repentance par excellence before they accept you. Their own point is they must see repentance. They are not there to hear that I am sorry, mommy, forgive me. No, they want to see that you have changed. They want to see evidence. They are looking for evidence. So instead of you trying to talk to them, I am sorry, forgive me now, you go ahead and show them. Try to show them by example. Try to show them you have changed. Try to show them the possible methods you're using to get things better. You know, sanguine melancholic, melancholic phlegmatics, those guys are calm people. They are so quiet to an extent that they may sit quiet and you think that they are angry with you. In most cases, they are not angry. They are just observant. They're just trying to let you give them a space, because every time they want to talk, you shout. Every time they want to talk, you shout at them. Every time you want to talk, you yell at them. So because of that, they decide to go into themselves. They are introvertish. Introvertish means that they are inside of themselves. The much part of themselves is inside. They do a lot of thinking. They do a lot of reflecting. They don't do a lot of talking. So you may be expecting them to talk when they don't feel like talking, and their temperament don't permit them to talk like that. That is it. So sometimes let them to be. Time will heal them, because they need more time, especially those introvert people who are quiet people. They need more time to solve a problem. They don't need that immediate, because to us like this, people like us, the choleric, we believe that problem should solve now or never. Now, here, now. But we have learned, you grow up to learn that problems can be solved with time. Some problems you may say, I am sorry, please forgive me, and don't expect that forgiveness immediately. Expect that some behaviors will still be shown as time is going on, but you are the one to do what? To give them the confidence that things are fine, things are going to be fine, things are going to be better. So we call your indulgence. We say that don't be in a haste to conclude that the person has not forgiven you. Don't be in a haste to conclude that the problem has not been solved. Just be patient. They are expecting to see some changes, because if they see you asking that you are sorry and you are still doing the same things, and they are still seeing you involved in the same things, the truth is they would still be the way they are, and you will not blame them.
Oh, they'll be the way they are.
Yes.
But what of the extreme case where this lady says, a man is not man for 3 years? Is it enough to take it out there?
You are leaving the boss for manhood, and you are. Anyway, let me try. I think the truth is we are living in a world where the dangerous thing even for these problems is touching the ego, especially of men. You see, men take pride in sexual prowess. There is a pride in it. There's a pride for women to say they don't like sex. You know, a woman can easily say, "Me, I did me so. I don't really like me that thing. I don't really day." No, but funny thing, that same woman will insult a man who says that thing. Say, "Master, you be man." No, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's a behavioral or something of the cultural. Yes, and I think, like Apostle Alfred said, sexual issues are very, very, how can I put it, stimulating, sensitive. The truth is, informations are not of the same degree. Even in the nation, there are some things they call sensitive information. Not every information has the same degree of a man can take it if you say he don't wake up, he don't give money for cook. But to say at the touchy thing, you need to stand, that man can enter depression. Yes.
No man, no one here.
The worst is if it goes viral. And you see, when we are avoiding, we were saying don't just be talking to people here and there, it's because things can go viral in our generation in split seconds. In fact, you can be walking on the street, something happens, and in less than 30 minutes, it's all over the world, and you find yourself something that you never planned for it to be out, becomes viral. Sometimes we sit here and something we have said here becomes a meme that people have taken and have made a meme, and before you want to look at it, 10,000 shares, this people are put on the statuses and all of those kind of things. So imagine you make such a statement, and then you hear, I've heard people say, master, that man this, you know, that man this in a born,
and neighbor don't hear,
you know, that man this, so
neighbor begin to help neighbor.
So I think sometimes people can even take advantage of you through the information you put out.
Yes.
Let me say this to women, and let me say this to men. In fact, many men, while you are talking against your woman, some man is just showing for back. They say, man, see whether that thing are true. Sometimes you can make your partner, it's true. Sometimes you can make your partner vulnerable by the information you put out. That's why I even advise even women. It is a dangerous thing to show out there that you are not happy. We are not saying that when you are being bastardized or beaten or battered at home, we have already addressed that. But I'm saying that sometimes that thing, that emotional immaturity, where you are always showing that you are unhappy. In fact, they are predators who are so sensitive. If you will notice that there are a lot of men who are always texting and say, you don't look happy. You know, they are probing. In fact, even women do this to men.
Yes.
Are you happy at home? There's so many times I've received messages. A lady will ask me, are you happy at home? Tell me, sir. Are you happy? Now they just need you to give a hint. You know, a hint that you are not happy. You will see this same thing happens to the wife. This same things happen to many people I've counseled. You see, there are some people who always be texting you, are you sure? I know that when people are in this kind of relationship, especially since we have shared and let them know that just because somebody is popular does not mean that everything is good. People have called me, big people on screen and all of these things, launched me just to bring me to their home, let's solve some matters and all of those kind of things. Now, if you cannot trust this kind of sensitive information, imagine you carry a certain information about a man's sexual strength, ability and all of those kind of things, and you put out in the world. So a man can decide never to solve another problem just because of that. In fact, you can complicate a marital, a home issue because of such a thing. That's the truth. Because something like that, if it touches the man's ego, it can make it more complicated to solve issues.
Okay, we are going to take the second topic. We have just 30 minutes left after the short break. Okay, welcome back. We are going to be taking on our second topic, which has to do with whether the husband and wife should live in separate rooms. I will start with you out there from Burman, the Northwest Regional Capital, Asanji Yvette. What do you think about this, our second topic for tonight?
Good evening once more, Mr. Dio, and to this wonderful great team. Why should a man and a woman share separate rooms? First, then what is the reason for getting married? What is the reason? What is the purpose? Is it that the man wants a house help, wants somebody to help him clean the house, cook his food, and then take maybe just bear children and then the woman take care of the children? Or what can be the reason why that's a couple share separate rooms? I don't think there is any reason. There is no reason so far. I don't think there is any reason so far. Even if a woman has put to bed, sleeping on the same bed, sharing the same bed, sleeping in the same room, it's not like you must necessarily have sex. Sharing the same room gives bonding. It creates bonding. The Bible says a man shall leave his father and his mother and shall cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one. One. How come they are now having two rooms, not one room? That oneness is supposed to be seen in everything. I mean everything as in everything. So there is nothing like a man should share a separate room from the wife. I don't think it's sickness that can cause that. I don't think it's putting to bed that can cause that. Your matrimonial bed, when they say something is your matrimonial bed, when they call a bed your matrimonial bed, what do they mean? That is a bed that it is for you and your wife alone. For you and your spouse alone. Nobody else sleeps on it. So does it mean when we're getting married now we should not make two matrimonial beds? And then you only invite the other person? Then I don't know, what kind of marriage are those couples having if they should have separate rooms? What kind of marriage? Like you only invite each other to your room only when you want to have sex. Then you're keeping that person there as a sex machine. If you don't share anything, if you don't want to share the room with them, but you want to have sex with them whenever you want to have sex with them, then you're keeping that person there as a sex machine, and that is wrong. Marriage was meant for oneness. When couples go to bed, they discuss, when they share one room.
Like I said before, or at the beginning of the program, I've seen 3 studies that actually, Apostle Ambe, or should I start with here, that says that the studies are showing that those who are living, they are living under one roof, but they have two sleeping rooms for the man and the husband, for the man and the wife, and that they are living happier than people who are together almost every day. How can we understand that? Or is heresy? You don't fathom that. Maybe it's because many persons have not experimented that we are living. That is, we may decide to sleep here today, sleep there, or when we want our space, everybody goes to their room.
I think we should put the pros and the cons.
Okay.
Yes. let's analyze it. We might not have practiced it, but analysis can give us a better view on how such persons live. Now, living under the same roof and living in 2 separate rooms. What is the distance? That's the problem. What's the distance? That if I have to inconvenience you under the same roof, if you stay in a separate room with me, I will still inconvenience you. Because the only time we are going to separate when we are going to bed. We're spending the whole day in the house. We talk together in the house. We discuss things in the house. We share in the house. We eat in the house. And then when we are going to sleep, we separate.
Maybe you need some privacy at times.
What privacy? Except the person is practicing some level of mysticism. Or is a witch that does incantations in the night and doesn't want the wife to know. I know some people will not buy my philosophy. We are going to be arguing here.
Like myself.
Yes. Yes. But let me share. Yes. Because If you get to the scripture, the Bible says, when two persons hold themselves together, there is heat. There is it. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 9 to 12. It said, two are better than one, for they have a good reward for their labor. When one falls, the other shall bring the other up. And when one is cool, if they hold the other, they shall get heated. So you need heat. Even biblically speaking, you need that heat. Number two, there are issues that couples will hardly discuss during the day. Sometimes it is late at night that the wife will either raise the man up or the woman will raise the man will raise the woman up for them to discuss when everywhere is dead quiet. So that intimacy between the two of you inside the room is very, very serious. And there is a bonding when two persons spend time together in a room, because the whole day, the hustle and bustle of everyday life occupies the man and the woman, and sometimes the time to get bonded together is when you come into the room and you lie on the bed. The Bible says the two shall become one flesh, not one spirit. One flesh. The two shall become one flesh, and this flesh has to be binding. You and I know very well that every time you embrace a woman, there are
binding forces. Binding forces.
Every time you embrace a woman, it's very certain. Elements in your system begin to react. There are impulses that flow from one person to another. When you start kissing each other, there is another kind of bonding when you embrace each other than when you are talking to each other. That's the reason why genuine relationships really go deeper when two persons begin to embrace each other and begin to kiss each other. And if such gap is put at a certain level, you can even invite the devil in the middle of the two of you. The devil can creep between the two of you and give you distance. Remember that it was when Adam gave space that the devil came in. This too much distance that people are having in the night, I'm wondering. And then a woman gets pregnant. You impregnate her and then she's still in another room. She can be going through something the night that it will be difficult for you to even realize it. There are a lot of things put in place. There is emotional bonding. There is security reasons. That's supposed to protect each other when you are asleep in the night. And that's the truth. So I think that the idea of separating rooms in the house, I'm not forcing a philosophy on anybody, but I feel within me that there is a strong bonding when people sleep together. They can share secrets in the night when everybody is fast asleep. They can also be able to help each other when one is attacked or the other is in one challenge or the other. You should not be opening your door to move to the next room to go and find out if your partner is okay or not. At least. And then what if a person sleeps in a room? It is late in the night that they answer all their calls. It will promote a high level of adultery and fornication. Because sometimes when you are sleeping in a room, it will be difficult for some side chicks to be calling you. But when you are sleeping alone, you can spend the whole night and you are chatting. Some men also spend time watching pornography in the night, late in the night, when they are in their own separate room. So a lot of evils can take place in a room when the man is not close to his wife. That's my opinion. I'm not imposing on anybody. Thank you.
Okay, you are not imposing. Yes. So what's your take? You think that is it too much of a thing at times becomes boring now? Because Madam Asanji raised the issue of bonding. Do you think that relationships and marriages are better bonded today because the couples sleep on the same bed?
Well, I have a mixed feeling about that. Mixed feeling. When I say mixed feeling, is that it depends on the class and schedule of people.
Okay.
Because people who are always available will not advise them to have those kind of separations. But those who are busy, automatically they need a space for themselves sometimes. Now, a lot of couples have gone to the courts to even divorce because they say the husband snores or the wife snores and those kind of things. Some couples, the children prefer to, the wife prefer to spend time with the children in her room than to, go to the parlor and deal with them. Sometimes you just want to lie after a busy day, kind of a thing, the children, and sometimes the children sleep off on the bed. And sometimes you want to even come there. Men don't like uncomfortability. They like some kind of things that you want to sleep and you don't feel urine on your body that children have, urinated on the side. So because of that, they can go to those extents. But to me, I've never had that experience before, but I'm looking forward to, because it depends on how your program is getting. So sometimes you really want to pray and make noise, especially most of us who pray and really shout and talk some things. You know, you want to really do that, especially in the night. And this person is also a busy person who wants to have their time to rest. And to have rest, yes. They want their time to rest and some kind of things. Or the person gets up in the night, have to put on the light to study. Or some kind of things in the room. Put the light
she has to prepare
for some other kind of things. And then it's disturbing you. I think, for example,
if there's a second room, why not just move
you just move there and rest? Because I used to have this early in the morning. My wife gets up and then lights on, and I don't like. Sometimes it's the morning that I want to really sleep, and then you get up and then bro, you want to talk. I want to prepare. I'm going to work. So what will you do? You have no other choice. You just have to. You have to get up and then wait with her until she goes. Then you now look for 1 hour to sleep. Yes, and that's sleeping at that time. So some of these times it's advisable that if you get to that kind of a point where people are busy and really engage into some high level activities, please get that room. It may not necessarily be that you can sleep there all the time. Sometimes you may take it as a retreat room.
Your wife may need it, yeah?
Yes. Your wife will also need it, because sometimes they need their quiet time. Sometimes they need to spend time with their children. Sometimes they need to also do works. In the night, they want to be on the laptop. Or they want to cover up some.
To distract you.
Yes, they don't want to distract you. They want to get some work to do in the night. They get up in the night, and especially those kind of people are busy. The truth is that those uncomfortability will cause a lot of problem. The husband gets up and is stressed up because he's not sleeping well in the night, and they begin to shout like cow everywhere, and you see those kind of things. Now, I am not saying that I am pushing people to do this kind of divisions, but there is a level that you operate in life that you will need a time like that. You will need a period like that where you need to rest your head yourself. You need to take off some time yourself. It is true, like Apostle Ambe has cited some vices. In every situation there are vices and there are virtues. So we are looking at those virtues. We said that at a high class in terms of marriage, where people are professionals, they need their quiet time. They need their privacy. They don't want to disturb the other person who is sleeping or is trying to catch up from sleep and this other. Now, if somebody wants to cheat, you will still cheat while staying with your wife on the bed. You can still be working on your phone. Your wife will not tell you that you keep your phone down. Your wife cannot get up, your husband get up and say, why are you working on your phone? They will not. You will still be on your phone. Many a times, there are sometimes I do a lot of meditations with my phones in the night. I get up in the night and do it. But my wife thinks that it is not proper that I do that. You see? Now, for those couples who like to pray with their partners, it is always advisable to sleep together. Because of what? You can easily get up to pray, because this one will touch this other one to get up, especially when they are inconvenienced. Sometimes they are tired and they just need to get up and pray together. Those kind of things are very important. You pray together with your partner, and you do some things together with your partner. But I'm talking about situations where people need privacies. They need to handle their activities. They need to handle their professionalism.
I don't know why many persons are talking about bonding. When we look at the marriages of our parents,
yes,
in those days, most of them,
yes,
they had their houses, and that for their wives.
Their wives are even somewhere else.
Oh, whether polygamous or
in most cases, Mr. Lewis.
Yes, in most cases.
Let me develop.
Yes.
Yes, in most.
Okay, I'm saying that when you go to most of the villages in those days, but even monogamous, you will see Pa had his house.
That is it.
The wife had the house with the children.
Good.
That was it in those days. And we saw how successful the marriages were. Are we saying that because these things no longer exist, there is much love?
And there's that one between the mother and the children.
We saw
more time with them.
Yes, we saw most parents living in their house, the fathers. Because at times you would not necessarily be living in the compound with your wife alone. Maybe your sister was chased from, you build a house for, maybe your auntie, your mother. Yeah. That is how houses were constructed in the villages now.
Of course.
Maybe I'm talking heresy.
No.
So what we are saying, it sounds modern, but this is what a typical African man practiced in the past.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Why are we looking at this thing as illustration?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Leo. I think I like the approach you just brought. And the truth is, let's be balanced about this. To me, if you ask me this question, is it normal for a man to have a separate room from his wife? I will say yes, it's normal. If that is the question, is it normal? I said yes. Now, but we must also understand that times have changed.
and we must, like Apostle Ambe said, let's look at the pros and the cons. The society have become more complicated, and even in that olden times, people the complexity of society was not as it is today. You understand that we have more. For example, it was easier to find a man in the house in the afternoon, maybe after he has gone and tapped, after he has gone and you understand, he was at home. So they might be in different rooms, but you will find that they were kind of close. So today you will find that with the woman walking and the man walking, you will discover that there is a lot of absenteeism at home during the day, that coming back and still maintaining stable structures. Now please mark my words, stable.
Most of our brothers were hardly home now.
Yeah.
Even today, if you go to the villages, the whole day, they
yes, no, they go to the work. Yes, true.
Oh, they go to the farm now.
Farms, and yes, they go to the farms, and they used to go. In fact, they used to do a lot.
They are still doing that.
Yes.
Has it changed?
Yes. Now, my point is this: we are trying to look at how such too much distance can be an issue. But the truth is, when you are growing, I'm talking about, it also depends on who the person is, their job.
Did you ever live in the village?
Yes.
You saw those compounds everywhere?
Yes, I did.
And you thought that they pass in those compounds were not close to their wives?
No, they were. Please, let me learn now.
Okay,
let me get, yes, please, let me learn. My point is this. When you are growing up, right, it's easy for people who are not married, or people who, let me say this, university people who are always, in the university, it's very easy for people to just be living together, and they feel that relationship is always lying on somebody's shoulder. Because who are saying this, some people are always thinking that it is that lying on people's shoulder, all those kind of things. But when you are growing up, for example, my wife does not want light on. She cannot. There are some people who cannot sleep with light on. That means if the light is on, they cannot sleep. Me, whether it is light, whether it's sunlight or halogen light or any light, if it is my time to sleep, I will sleep. But there are people that if you don't turn it off, they don't sleep. Sometimes I have to turn it off, let them sleep. Sometimes I have to go to the parlor to study. You understand? So if you are saying that, is it normal for people to have two separate rooms? If these two people have an understanding, it's very normal. It is very normal. But when people are having issues, because like Apostle Ambe said, and any married person would tell you the truth, the night hour is always a time of communion. I'm not just talking about sex. There's a lot of things about the family they discuss. In fact, most of the time when the man is out of the house, he gets updates of what has been going on at home in his absence at night. But now, this does not mean it cannot be happening when there's another separate room. My issue is that standardized separation. That means all the man's things is in room A, all the woman's things is in room B. Sometimes when we do certain things, it's about the mindset. You understand, Mr. Leo? If these two people feel distant, it will be a problem. But if these two people are close, such things will not be an issue. Because, for example, based on my work, sometimes I need to have to go to the parlor to go and work. I do a lot of work in the night. That's the truth. And sometimes you can be disturbing the other partners. Yes. But now, if you have institutionalized rooms, it can be another issue. That's where my concern is. Where do I say, no, my room this, no password? That means the man, everything is here and it's here. I think there should be there can be a second room, like you just said. That second room will not let only me. There's a time that I close the door for my wife and I tell my child, leave mommy rest. And I think there were two rooms. She can also run and lock herself in one and stay. In fact, as the more I'm having money and I'm building my house, it cannot be only one room. It's impossible.
No, it cannot.
Yeah, in fact, if you don't have enough money to do it, don't think it's a bad thing or it's impossible. Let's make it very clear here. It is very normal. If I'm building a good room, there should be another room where it's a quiet place, a place of, and then we can always have that place of communion.
Why I raise this issue is that when I posted it, many persons wrote to me, and we discussed and discovered that it's not an issue of being rich, because most of our fathers were poor.
But they kept that separation.
They constructed modest one rooms for their wives and kids, and they were living happily. And I don't know what your problem is, but let's listen. Let's move over to Bomenda to take a listen to what Asanji Yvette has to say again.
Mr. Leo, I would like to condemn vehemently against such marriages. If anybody is watching me and you're having that kind of marriage, I condemn it. I condemn it 100%. It's wrong. When you were marrying that person, did you tell him or did you tell her that as we're getting married, we're going to be sleeping in 2 different rooms? Did you tell that person? How then can you come and you're sharing the same rooms, sharing separate rooms? What happens to the children? Do you know children watch, they see what happens in the homes? Your children will replicate you in their own future marriages. And as you're sleeping in 2 different rooms, guess what? Your children will grow up to sleep in, they will follow your footsteps. They will follow your footsteps. So it is not only wrong, it is even evil. Is that the agenda of marriage? Is that what God is that why God created marriage? Is that how God said marriage should be? That the oneness should be that couple should come and live in 2 separate rooms. Then there's no need to get married. You just keep your wife in her parents' house, and then you stay in your father's house, or maybe you're renting. You stay in your own house, then she stays in her own house. Then you both still meet and have sex. It's the same thing. I will not lie to you. I would prefer to live. I better stay in a separate, completely separate apartment than sleeping in separate rooms. It's wrong. I know that sometimes couples have problems and one person might get angry and leave the bedroom. Those things happen. But the one that they are completely sharing 2 separate rooms is wrong. You will have just left her in her father's house. You will have just stayed in your own apartment. The way you want to meet and have sex, you just meet and have sex and then you go your separate ways. There is nothing normal about it. So it is wrong. If you're practicing that kind of marriage, if you're watching me and you're practicing that kind of marriage, please pack your things into your matrimonial room. Go back to your room. Fix it. You are putting a crack on the wall on your marriage. That is not the idea of marriage. That's not what God had intended that marriage should be. When they said the man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, it was to become one. Let your children see good marriages. Let your children learn from you. So go away, stay away from such ideas that it's normal to share separate rooms. There is nothing normal about it. Nothing normal.
Asanji, Asanji Yvette, madam, yes, she says there's nothing normal about it. That asking people to run away, to flee from it, because it's evil. Good evening to you all. I appreciate the program, for it has impacted positively in marriage. Thank you. Pastor Ayon says I think it depends. A pastor might need to have his room for prayers at night without disturbance, like what it says. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Kum Leonard, New Youth, writing from Kishi in Kumbu. The biblical book of Ecclesiastes 4:9-12 tells us that 2 are better than 1. Thanks. Okay, 2 rooms are better than 1 room. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. This program is really good, and I thank Prophet Ambe for the input. I really enjoy it. My problem is the polygamy. How can they stay in 1 room? Christopher is writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I believe staying in separate rooms is normal depending on the culture. Some cultures accept separate rooms while some not, but from my own point of view, separate rooms is not normal. Pastor Bison is writing from Loom. Good evening, Mr. Liu and my favorite panelist. When these men of God speak, expect nothing but wisdom. I've learned a lot from this show, and today I totally agree with Apostle Ambe. When couples sleep in separate bedrooms, there must be an extramarital affair in most, and just like the apostle said, most of them will spend time watching all sorts of immoral things because they know no one is watching. So I think it's not a good idea for couples to sleep apart. Anne is writing from Kumba. Anne, I am in my office. If I want to watch whatever I want to watch in my office, I'll still watch. I will not need to go into a room to do that. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Leo and all the great men of God in the studio. I don't support the idea. If the wife have given birth to the baby, the bed is needed in the same room. Understand your partner when he or she is sleeping. Thanks. I'm Ororo One International from Bonso. Good evening to you. Good evening to you all in the platform. To me, Mr. Liu, is not normal for such barrier, except the head of the house is a witch.
Living in separate rooms.
I don't know whether it's the caption that is not. Yes. I don't know whether they should. Is it normal for a man and to have separate room from? Yes. Okay, for the man to have a separate.
Even the scripture says, in the book of Romans says that when a man intends to go on a fast, or the woman, he should let the partner know, and do it and come back so that Satan does not tempt you. I mean, the Bible is even telling that space you give to fast is very delicate because temptation can come.
So those who are living abroad and their husbands are here, what happened?
It is only God who knows. It's only God who knows. I'm telling you, we know of a great man of God who was living in South Africa while was living in England and doing ministry, and we know where the marriage landed. There's no need calling names here. You know where the marriage landed. Okay. When Papa is in America, Mama is in South Africa, the Lord himself will take charge. The scripture says, and I repeat, when a man and a woman are supposed to go on a fast, they should give themselves awareness and come back fast, lest Satan tempt them. I'm telling you that if a man and a woman have two separate rooms, house girls, my God, there are evils that a man in that room alone can start developing mentally, of which if he were to be with a woman in a room, he will never think of such things. There is a possibility of a house girl being the second wife in a house where a man has liberty to stay in a room in the night alone. Women are a kind of security to men, whether we accept it or not. A man who is married, at his subconsciousness, he walks with that fear. Even if the wife is not there, he walks with that fear because he knows the society knows he's married. And because of that alone in his life, it gives him a certain level of security. Then when you are living in a house where you can have matured girls, not because you want to commit sin, not because you want to commit sin, circumstances can push you and you enter into something that you will regret forever. I'm telling you, if people can be living with their wives in their rooms, they can still sneak out of their rooms and still go and meet a house girl in her own room. Then talk less of when a man has a licensed room. Madam, you get a banya for that house. Full-time banya.
Apostle, who is always with the house girl during the day when everybody has gone to work?
Who's with the house girl?
The man can come even during break time and come and do the thing and go back.
The man goes to work now. The woman goes to work.
There's break time. People can always sneak from job side and come and do and go back.
Sneak from that's what I'm telling you.
The house girl can always
We are saying this. We should not create avenues.
They should not tempt the devil.
Yes, we should not tempt the devil
to tempt us.
To tempt us. That's it. Let it occur. It's a man's attitude. We are talking the truth. The man does not want to. We are creating an avenue where temptation can come in. Because people sometimes get tempted when they are alone. Until Eve was left alone, the devil could not take charge.
Okay. Hello, sir. I'm watching you right now on my media plan. Please connect me to that marriage counselor who just spoke. Thanks. Okay. You're talking of, I'm sure, Madam Asanji. I'll send you, just write to me, please. If you need any of their numbers, write to me after the program. I'll send the numbers on WhatsApp. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all the super panelists on the studio. Seriously, I don't know who brought this aspect of room separation, because it is very abnormal for a man to have a separate room in the house under the same roof. Jesus Jerry writing from Mutengen. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and all the panelists. Apostle Ambe, please, Madam Asanji, talk of the matrimonial bed. Please enlighten me on it. Solange is writing from Douala. Yes, you call Madam Asanji. Ask for a number after. Good evening. Firstly, if you are in Douala or Yaoundé, the amount needed to rent a house will not even allow you
to look for separate rooms.
Mane Junior is writing from Edinau. Yes, you are very correct. Greetings to the crew. The program is very educative. Apostle Ambe, the King Solomon of our time, please, for your number. Farmer Gideon is writing from Taku in Du. Can you please just ask for these numbers on WhatsApp after the program? Hello, I'm enjoying the program. Be Easy Boy writing from Bomenda. Good evening, my Media Prime. I think 2 rooms are good for couples. Okay, good evening. It's Bernard writing from Bomenda. Thanks to Apostle Alfred. Some people snore like elephants and need to spend the night in the east. Okay. Good evening, Leo. It's Laura from Tiku Shela Ngonda's sister, a couple. Shela Ngonda's sister. Okay. Okay, a couple should rather make provision for reading room in the house than setting up a second room with a babe. Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening to you. In the village, our fathers and mothers were go the same farm, and today we wife maybe a doctor and a man a teacher. When would they share or chat? And more to that, you expose your partner to temptation. Today things have changed. Online, they can do everything. Good evening to the panel, Mr. Liu. I have ever been waiting for a program like this past 2 of the show. Please, what of those who have more than 2 wives? Should they have different rooms? And Prince writing from Chang. Of course, you can't be living 3 of you in the same room. Hi sir, to me it's very normal. Even now, many families in villages have separate houses. A mother lives with children, female, and father lives with male. Is not an issue. And Mary writing from Bamenda, to have a separate room prolongs issues. Okay. Between a male child and a female child, which one is more important? Is Blessing writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panel. It is normal for some very high intelligent men because they have high libido and they may want to undergo sex maybe than normal 3 times per week, but they want to control it.
Normal 3 times per week.
Yes, so they want to control it, so they want to stay away from their wife. Deep Shengong Frederick writing from Bamenda. Yes. I don't know why is it so. Is it that we are not Africans? Why is it so strange for people to understand that we are just coming, or as we are here, most of our parents are living like that in the villages?
Why
does it sound so strange?
It's that people have not understood the power of privacy. People don't understand that yet. Because I was talking with my wife at this thing, I think it was last night. I just told her, she was like, it is good when we build a bigger house, we're going to have separate rooms so that some of these inconveniences that we have, we will not have them sometimes. But now, I think that separate room does not mean that you just go and have automatic, you pack all your things and go and keep them.
Both rooms are for
both of you. Yes. There is a day, the door should be open all the time. You can enter there anytime. No, not reading room. We just call it reading room. It's a separate room. We know what you call it. Now, sometimes the wife can come over this side, sometimes the husband goes the other side. And the woman can come and enter that room at any time. Even any time in the night, and come and enter the room. So it should be very liberal. That thing should not be coded and begin to be as if it's a secret room, because those things are for privacy, especially those people who are busy. Like Apostle Ambe, you can at this point of your life, you need those kind of things. The kind of person you are and the kind of activities you run, you need a room that you can call a place where you can sleep in the night alone. you sleep and snore well.
Yeah, because
Nobody will get
there's something. There's a point. No, there's a point. There is a point. Some people may be missing. You are a man of God, apostle. There are times that you need
Quiet time.
You need quiet time,
Of
and
course.
you go and pay hotel.
Yes.
Don't you?
Yes.
But if you have a room, what stops
So
you
woman
from-
will come into you for hotel.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have a little problem here with the
That is what I wanted to say.
with
Please.
the
I
subject.
think that's what I wanted to say. Please, that's what I wanted to say.
The man's room is a wife's room now.
Good. That is why we are looking at. I want to
Is
say.
there a taboo that if it's a man, this is
That is why I want to call.
Let's not call it two. Let's call it a restroom.
No, there's something I want to say.
Because all our
a
properties
rest,
are in the same room.
a restroom when people come to visit you.
Yes,
They can go to
the
restroom.
but they can't go to that room.
Please,
No,
yes,
that's-
please, can I say something?
Yes.
I would really like to say something. I think the major issue here, for me, the wisdom is they should not live in separate rooms. It might not be the best.
Yeah, they should have
Living
They should have another room.
another room.
Yes, they should have another.
I think that's so. And then, secondly, the second room should not be a taboo to the other party.
yes.
When it becomes a taboo, then there's something fishy. Because when people are talking about occultism or
Yes.
something fishy, is when a woman, you hear a man say, "No, ever enter my room." I think that is when. If you have a wife, because I think anybody who loves their wife loves those moments. In fact, one of the best moments is that moment you're fellowshipping and having that talk or that time with your woman in the night. So I think there is nothing wrong with having two rooms, separate rooms, but it should be accessible to both, enjoyable by both. The truth is, privacy is good, and anybody who has had a good family and a big family will appreciate it. You are saying that because maybe you just have a small family.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu, and your wonderful panelists. To me, I think that a couple should try to solve their marital issues within themselves with all sincerity and show remorse where he or she went wrong. But if the couple have tried on their own and still cannot find a solution, the woman or the man should then go invite the father of the husband and not the mother. If the father is no more alive, look for the head of the husband's family who stood in front during the time the marriage was being contracted. Traditionally, I said the father because he knows the pains they went through in fulfilling the marriage rites. Thus, he, as head of the big family, will make sure he looks for responsible ways to solve the problem in his son's house. If the father fails to get a solution, then the couple should seek the services of social welfare. I don't support the idea of separate rooms, except it's polygamous marriage. Tikum T. Akuru in Bamenda, Cameroon film industry. Good evening to you, my brother. Apostle, no greed that advice. I'm still Good evening, my media prime. I'm Bison Elvis Aka Obotoyo from my falling bear. I enjoy your program, but I don't really think couples should sleep on separate rooms, because even the Bible makes us to understand that they are one flesh. So sleeping in different rooms won't help. Thank you. Okay, good evening to you in the studio. 2 rooms is better than 1 if a man wants to go out with different women, even in the same room, he will. If a man is not die to self, forget. Miss John is writing from Amanda.
Perfect.
Mr. Liu, greetings. I'm enjoying the program. For me, it's good to have a separate room because one day I might use it too. The room is not only for my husband. I'm Are Esther writing from Boya. Yes, many more women are saying they need a room. Good evening, sir. Your program is so educative. Please, I'm in need of the counselor's number from Bomenda. Please, can you guys just write to me after the program? You have the number. Good evening once more, Mr. Leo. Living in separate rooms is a very big platform for separation. If any problem arose, Mr. Asanji from Amanda, she is Mrs. Asanji, not Asanji. Maybe it's Oga. Maybe it's the husband of, yes. Sorry. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Tata Leonard from Konsamba. No matter what I see, no reason why husband and wife should have separate rooms if they are truly married. Hello, I'm happy for the program. It's nice. I'm Emmanuel from Bachini, Mr. J subdivision. Okay, we may just have to end here. Yes, I want to say thank you to you, Apostle Ambe, Valentine, for coming and talking to our panelists, to our televiewers this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Thank you, televiewers. Thank you for the privilege to give us your attention so that we can educate you. For those of you who want to join my mathematics platform on WhatsApp, my number is 693-105191. 693-105191. I do counseling, I do teachings, and I answer questions. When you come, you will know better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming too.
Thank you very much. I want to say that I've always liked to keep it real the way it is, considering the society. As a social scientist, I try to balance up issues so that we'll be able to get the best out of it. Thank you for listening, and every time at least you need a number, you always get to Mr. Leo. He will get it, he'll give it to you.
Okay, thank you to Apostle Lefor, Divine, for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I just want to appreciate everyone. People have been asking about my best-selling book, You Can Shape Your Destiny, a very beautiful one that can help you build your life. You can shape your destiny. It's available. You can get to Mr. Leo, or you can contact. And I also want to use the opportunity to appreciate all those who have been contacting me to connect with my anniversary of the ministry that is coming up. Thank you. If I've been a blessing to you and you want to partner with us as our anniversary, my anniversary is coming on the 29th of June, to reach out to some people in need in Munya, where we are based. Please still remember, it's still open. Contact us, 67552-8266. 67552-8266. My anniversary of making 10 years, and thank you for always supporting, and thank you for those who have already contacted us. God bless you.
Pastor can have his prayer and return to the room of Madam and Oga. You stay in the same room even if there is a problem. It is not good to stay apart no matter the situation. Eko Kangumba, writing from Great Support. We want to thank you all who took time off to watch the program this evening. Thank you, the production team. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Embrace its academic and professional reputation that has trained over 15,000 professionals in 10 years. Embrace HitMat's numerous professional programs from HND to BTech, BSc, and MBA in the schools of Business and Management Sciences, Engineering and Technology, and the School of Transport and Logistics. Embrace HitMat's professionalism, excellence, and consistency with solid mentorship from the University of Bamenda and the University of Boya. Embrace HitMat's skills, development, expertise, and career orientation via workshops and academic field trips. Be part of the HitMat family. Visit our Boya campus at Checkpoint Moliko and Douala campus at Carrefour Yoro, Jos, Bonamusali. Contact 683-70-1720. The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology.